changing the way organizations operate and function. Let's hear more about what you're doing at BCAT.
Thank you for that opportunity. Here's what we're learning. What we're learning is that culture is a little bit like the weather. People are always talking about it, but they're never doing anything about it. So what we do with the Brand and Culture Alignment Toolkit is we take culture talk, which is surveys, questions, a talk around the water cooler, the kinds of things people complain about all the time. We take all that conversation, we turn it into actionable things that could be done that actually make a difference inside of an organization, that connect the people in the organization with the purpose of the organization. And you got a lot of energy from that, you get a lot of traction from that, and your people enjoy their work experience more. And I think a lot of that is what we're going to be sharing with Hermione. I want to make sure I pronounce her name correct. I probably will get it wrong, but it's Sihukai, I think. And she's going to be talking about, I think, exactly that when we bring her out.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Al. And one more question before we bring her out. So businesses have had to reevaluate or evaluate a number of things based on what's happened during the pandemic. And I think a lot of this is focused around culture, around flexible work schedules, around the generations and what's relevant and important to each. So what are you finding with the clients that you've worked with? Anything they might have shared with you in these areas?
What we're learning with the clients that we're now working with, what we're learning over and over again is that the problems that they're having predate, sometimes by decades, COVID. What COVID didn't cause a problem. What COVID did was expose a problem. And I think that's a big part of what we're currently referring to as the Great Resignation, where people are seriously considering the relevance of their work and the meaning of their work in their lives, and they're quitting their jobs in huge record numbers. I think people felt disconnected from purpose. I think they felt like their work lives and their personal lives were completely different, and there was a barrier between them. And I don't think people want to live like that anymore. I think people want an integrated life that includes what they do and who they are in a kind of a meaningful and rewarding way. And that's what we try to do with the Brand and Culture Alignment Toolkit. And I think really smart, savvy business owners, and there's a growing number of them, are waking up to the fact that they need to go deep and long on this. You can't just throw perks at somebody or give people bonuses or pay them more money and expect that to buy their loyalty. Loyalty comes at a higher price than money. And I think business owners are learning that I'm seeing our guest smiling backstage. I think that's pretty much what she's going to say. And I think it's just so it's exciting to live in these times, just to watch all this unfold.
Absolutely. And I love what you brought to light is that the issues, the challenges that have revealed themselves or that we're now aware of have been there for a long time. We just weren't paying attention to them.
Lying dormant and brought forth by the pandemic. Yes. So that's something we actually owe COVID.
All right, let's bring out our guest. She is joining us from the UK. And Al, you pretty much teed up what she does, but she's an alignment business strategist. Welcome, Hermione, to the show. Hi.
Hi. Welcome, and thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. What did I get wrong, Hermione?
Oh, just a little bit of pronunciation at the beginning of my surname, but that was okay for me. So you can just call me Hermione, it's fine. And I loved what you were talking about, Al, and what you were mentioning about in business. It was so spot on about how the pandemic has just highlighted what has been lying underneath the surface. It almost gave us all a time to pause and reflect and check in on ourselves. And then suddenly we saw things that we had just been, passing off over to the side. So I really loved what you were speaking about then.
Well, and that is what you do for your clients, isn't it?
Yeah. So basically what I do is I work with business owners to help them look at their business and to make sure that they're in alignment with themselves and their business. So sometimes people have a tendency, you have a reason why you want to start your own business, right? Sometimes it's a monetary reason. Sometimes it's just this thing that's driving you. Sometimes you just see a gap in the market and you know that, what you're doing can fill it. And then as you're going along and you've established, and you're getting past those first stages of being a startup and you start to kind of get into your kind of routine and rhythm, you look at ways of how to, increase the kind of your reach of your clients and see how far you can get out there and see if you can make more money and you can grow your business, right, et cetera, et cetera. And as you're doing that tends to kind of leave a space where business owners can then start to try and bring in products or services that don't really match, but they know like, oh, maybe if I throw that in there, that will make me some money here. Or, you know, if I put that in there, that's what everyone's doing right now. And when you do this, you start to take this business that you formed for a certain reason and start to kind of take it off track. And then as you go down the line, it starts to get stagnant in places. It's not flowing in the right way. It's not working in the right way. You know, people don't enjoy working there as much, and all the things start to change, and you kind of are lost or confused as to what is going on. And it's just basically that you are not in alignment with your business. You're not seeing it as a separate entity to yourself, and you're trying to make it go with what your kind of shortcomings are, if you know what I mean. Like, we all have personal challenges that we're trying to work through. So sometimes we bring them into our business and then try and make our business do where our fears are. So my job is to come in and help that business owner align back with their business, make sure they're both on track, and allow that business to run as it's meant to run, you know, and reach where it's meant to reach and make the difference that it's meant to make.
That's great. So for business owners out there, business leaders, because it could be somebody who reports to the owner.
Yes.
What habits and attitudes and misconceptions do they need to break before they can have an intelligent conversation with you? What is it that they know that is wrong that they need to fix?
Okay, it's just looking at making sure that it always comes back to the similar things. And like, I think for anybody that's working kind of in business consultancy or strategy or things like that, like, have you got your basics? Do you know the mission of your business? Do you know your purpose of your business? Do you know your vision? And then it's looking at how you're leading your business and the business culture in that way. You know, is it matching? Is it in alignment? Is it focused on, are you heading towards your purpose? Are you going in that direction? Or have you got distracted by shiny object syndrome, where you're like, oh, let me bring in this service. Let me bring, you know, people start to offer products or services that it's not for their audience. It's not the people that they want to serve. And you're like, why are you, you know, in this field here, and you're offering something that's not relevant? Like, why are you doing that? Just because you think it can be a quick cash cow. And so it's really just looking at the person that you put in charge of your business, whether it's you or a leader. Are they focused on the bigger picture? Are you following and making sure that you're taking the steps towards the bigger picture of the difference that you want to make, the people that you want to serve? And then are you creating the culture internally with the staff that you've hired, or the, you know, the freelancers that you've hired, etc.? Are you creating that culture where people want to be in that space and want to help you work towards it? Or have you just kind of gone, I've got a job, get through the day, you know, like you said, give you a little bit of money, hope you don't notice that you hate it, and keep going. So
when you ask a business owner, let's get back to the basics. What's your purpose? What is the purpose of your business?
Yes.
Bad answer to that question is, I want to make a lot of money. I don't care what I do.
Yes. Then they're probably not going to be the type of people that I will want to work with, because the people that I will focus on are, I want to, and I have been working with businesses that are, I want them to do some type of contribution to humanity, some type of growth, some type of help, some type of something where it helps humanity in a positive way. I mean, there are many ways you can make money. And, you know, people make money however they want to make money. That's not a judgment on my side, but my job is to work with the ones that actually want to contribute to society and humanity in some way that's positive and kind of takes us forward, rather than just kind of that mundane, unconscious behavior. I don't know. Sorry,
Hermione. And sorry, now I just want to jump in with a comment. I have to say, as a new business owner, I definitely have been distracted by shiny things that it's like, oh, I can make money by doing, like, someone reaches out to you, oh, we can do this, we can do that. It's like, okay, I'll try this, I'll try that. And it's totally not in alignment with what I'm doing. And so I had to really be focused on everything that I do, every dollar that I spend. It has to make sense, because I'd be confusing my audience. I'd be confusing my clients, right? Isn't that important that you send a direct, consistent message to your clients?
Absolutely. I mean, Al was talking about it with like branding. It touches on the branding. I don't touch on that, but it's like your clients come to you because they know what they're going to get. They know that, you know, you're going to be producing this business show again and again. So if you start to bring in athletes, or you start to bring in things that they might be businesses, but maybe they're just people who do endorsements, you're going to confuse your audience, and then they're going to get, what is Dr. Jacalyn about? Like, what's her brand about? I'm a bit confused. So people, I mean, when people talk and they talk about niching down and really focusing, if you know who your clients are and you know who your customers are, then when you go out to serve them, there's going to be people outside of that don't want your stuff, and that is okay. You just keep focusing on the people that you are serving, the people that are right for you. And as you do, see something to the left or the right that, you've got to check in with yourself. Is this part of my brand? Is this part of my business? Is this part of my mission? Is this part of my purpose? Is this for my clients? Is this going to help them, benefit them? Or is this just something that I've seen that this is a good way that I can quickly make some money? The shortcuts that we take, we usually end up having to pay for them down the line. So it's best just to get back into alignment, get back into your path, and just stay focused on your original goal. And when you've gone into that, then you'll start to see change that you're making, and you'll start to see growth. But going everywhere is not going to be beneficial to you at the very beginning.
Hermione, you just said you don't really touch on branding, but the fact is, in what you said, you actually nailed branding. Oh. Branding is about the promise that you make to the community you serve. That's your brand. Your brand is your not your logo. It's not your graphics and your images. It's your promise. What do you promise people? And when people ask you, what are you promising? Can you repeat that comfortably in a way that conveys not only that you understand it, but also that you love it? Because that's what motivates people to want to do what you do and buy what you're selling. That whole idea that if I do that, I'll become a better version of me. I think what you do is so valuable, and it makes such a difference. And there are thousands of companies out there that are having difficulty keeping people these days. But you've got companies out there like Apple and Google where there is a line of people waiting to get in consistently. So it's not like everybody's quitting everything. When you don't know what you're about, people will quit you. They will leave you. But when you do know what you're about and you focus on that, people will line up to want to get in, even during tough times. And more people should be calling you. And I'm excited about you telling everybody how to reach out to you later. I think they need to talk to you.
Thank you. It is really, really important, Al. Like when people know what your business is about, why you started, what's your reason, what's driving you forward, what difference do you want to make, how do you want to help people, how do you want to grow, what technologies are you going to bring, whatever it is that you're in, when they really understand that, they want to work with you, they love working for you, and even sometimes their pay may not be as competitive as another employer, but they love what you stand for, that they're willing to go into that and support you and give you their time and give you their knowledge and give you their expertise and, go forward and help you build your business. So I think it's just super important to remember that. And then just, if you're stuck and you're going over the place, that's kind of where my type of people come in, me and other people that kind of deal with this stuff, is just to bring you back into alignment, make sure you stay on track, what your business is about, and then you drive it forward so it can make the difference that you set out for it to do in the first place.
That's great. So that everybody understands that that's what you mean when you mean alignment. That is alignment with the purpose that the organization delivers on every day.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
This is exciting. A question that I have for you, and Al, I'd love for you to comment as well, is if you look at a global brand, I'm just going to use Nike, for example. At some point, they weren't the size they are today, and they started out, let's say, with sneakers. But at some point, they managed to get their audience. They gave their messaging. They have their purpose. People are buying their sneakers, and now they branched out into other wearable items, right? So at some point, a business owner might have mastered their audience or their clients. The clients understand what the purpose is, and then they can branch out. Can you help people when they're realigning, I guess, to get larger?
When they are, like, if you're taking an example like Nike is huge, right? So when they were in, I don't know too much about Nike's history, so I will just do a brief bit of it. But when they obviously started in trainers, once people know that they're getting quality, or they're buying into the brand and what the brand is saying that they provide, then of course when they say, oh, we're going to make t-shirts now, or we're going to make jumpers now, and people start purchasing them when they like them, then it's still fitting with the parts of their kind of what they're, I'm trying to think of the word. It's still fitting with what their business is about. It's still ticking all the boxes of their values. Like the quality is still good. It's still making me, when I buy Nike, I still feel superior to, the person that buys Adidas or whatever it is they're trying to sell you, so it's still a case of the same rules apply even when you're scaling. It's just, do I want to go in and help a massive, huge corporation? Not really. I prefer to stick with SMEs. But yes, if you're scaling, it's the same rules that apply. It's just on a bigger scale, right? You just got to scale up, and you've just got to apply strategic thinking and bigger thinking for that situation.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's not specifically about the product, right? So when they start out with trainers or sneakers, it's about what's the promise that they're giving to their customers. And then the customers feel comfortable and they say, okay, Nike's an expert in trainers. Why couldn't they be an expert in t-shirts? They understand what I need in t-shirts, right?
You'll get some customers that do that. They will request it. You'll see it all the time when people go, when you love someone so much, you're like, bring out another film or bring out another book. Please bring out, another top, bring out some more trainers. We want bags. We want, like, when you love something so much and they're so congruent and they so get it on point with, who their customer is and they're serving them in the right way that they're asking for, you have the customers literally begging you, please branch out. And because it's coming from your customers, as well that you're doing the right thing. I mean, not always will your customers be lining up, but sometimes you have to introduce and offer them something like, this is also what we're now going to do. Are you interested in this? And then, you push that and then you educate them and you show it to them and then people get on board with it and off they go. Like, you can take that in the technology industry. We don't know what Apple are going to come out with next. We don't know to go and ask for AirPods, or iPads, but they bring it out, they introduce it to you, you understand what it's about, and you think, actually, now I do need this. So it's just really just making sure when you're running your business, when you have your business, that you remember that you are the business owner and the business is an entity on its own. So you're not one, but you have a massive impact and influence on that business. And so be aware of, if you're bringing in your own problems, your own scarcity, your own fears, your own lacks into your business, and then you're pushing that through when your business might already be taking on a life of its own and going in the direction it needs to, but then you could be stifling it. There are many businesses that want to grow, that want to go forward, that want to reach more customers, but the owner wants to keep like that control and that keep it small, but the business wants to, it wants to fly. And so it's like, take yourself out. You are not the business. You are the one that, like the manager, the owner, the runner of it. Have a look at it. Just remember that you're separate from it and allow your business to be what it wants to be. It's almost like if someone's a parent, you can try and control that child as much as you can. But at some point, that child has its own mind, has its own wings and wants to fly in the direction it wants to go in. So it's better that you work with it or work with the person or work with the business than it is if you try and, shrink it and make it what you want it to be because you're insecure or you're afraid or you're not educated in an area or you're not able to hire someone to do the part that you're not comfortable with. So it's really just making sure that the business owner and the business are separate, and then you're allowing your business to be what it wants to be, what it needs to be. I hope that makes more sense.
I'm going to feed that back to you with respect to a favorite company of mine because they're actually a client. They were for a couple of years. Apple Computer, because we talk about them all the time. They started out as a computer company. They made computer kits, basically hobby kits for nerds, just like a lot of companies did back in the 80s. Then they became a kind of a technology company when they broadened that to include personal digital assistants, smaller component type end user stuff. And now they're a lifestyle business. And to me, that's when they finally found their footing. You buy Apple products not just because they're cool and techy and whizzy. You buy them because you like the way they make you feel when you use them and when other people see you using them. A Mac is a statement. And so when I work these days anyway with financial services companies, I keep trying to tell them, you need to move away from managing money because there's no differentiator there. You need to think about helping people build value because that's really what financial services is about. Value is not about money. Value is about my whole life and every aspect of it. And when you do that, now all of a sudden you're making the kind of promise people need kept. That means they're going to hire you. That means they're going to work with you. And it means they're not going to jump from you to somebody else when all they do is manage money. And so going for the really, really deep reality of a company, you can't do that on your own. You need help. Hermione, I think what you offer is solid gold.
Absolutely. You can't, when you're in something and it's your baby and you're so passionate about it and you've really given birth to it and you've put your time and energy in it and you've gone through all those challenges and those losses and those like distresses, it's harder for you to separate yourself and say, oh, okay, I'm just going to, do this. You do need someone else to come in and kind of feedback to you, give you input and just be like, listen, if you really are serious about your purpose, if you're really serious about your mission and you want to change people's lives in the way that you do. Whether it's, selling, like you're selling houses, but you want them to be able to make it a home, or, you're making or decorating something. It really doesn't matter the kind of the genre or the type. It's just, if you really are serious about making that difference that you first committed to doing, then at some point you have to just take a step back and analyze it, but you might want another perspective so that you have somebody else's viewpoint, and you can then see, do you know what, actually I can see where I'm causing problems in my own business myself.
That's a great point. And I think a lot of business owners don't want to admit that maybe they're the bottleneck, right? Not me. It's not me.
No, certainly not me.
No,
but,
not me either.
But overcoming those biases, those gee, I really love this about what I do, but I don't care what other people love. This is what I love. You really do need to, every now and then, to open the door and let some fresh air in.
Absolutely.
So that you get to see the world the way the world actually sees you, and not the way you see it from inside of what you're doing. And so would you call yourself, Hermione, then? Would you call yourself a business coach or a business consultant? How would you characterize yourself?
I would just call myself an alignment business strategist, in the sense of, I put the alignment at the beginning because my focus and my purpose is getting you in that form, getting you to be, congruent, authentic with yourself, understanding what your business is about, and then the business strategy, because we've got to make sure that you have got the things in place to move your business forward. You've got to have that roadmap. So now you understand, like, right, you've brought me in, you understand, okay, I've got to get in alignment with my business. Okay, now I'm in alignment. Now, where am I going? I need to help you do the next bit. I can't just get you in alignment and then leave you with no roadmap, no pathway forward. So I will help strategize that and help move the business forward in that way.
That's key.
Yes, it is. We've got a lot more to chat about, but we're going to take a quick break and hear from some of our sponsors. And let's start now with somebody near and dear, Mr. Al Cini. We'll be right back. We'll be right back on The Business Talk Show.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
The world of healthcare is benefiting us in many ways, but the risk of becoming a victim to an airborne infection is increasing at a fast pace too. There are threats from viruses, allergic pollen, and chemicals which cause you loss of health, income, business, mental health, family and friends. All are at stake. One solution to this threat are the BV Air Sanitation Placide-based systems. When you call our team on 0208 104 3253, you find out about the amazing protection available. Protection that uses certified Battlefield, tested, standard and customized air disinfection systems for your personal and business use. Each system uses a filterless technology known as Placide, which attacks all airborne particles with microlighting to destroy and eliminate viruses and other harmful particles in your office, transport and home. You also benefit from extra bonuses such as low running and maintenance costs, no regular filter and part changes. You get to work with our trained experts and professional staff and be made aware of the latest in airborne protection and disinfection strategy. Keep yourself healthy by working with our trained experts and Placide virus killing systems, which keep you safe from airborne viruses. BV Air Sanitation Limited. We save lives, save businesses, and prevent infection. Schedule your free consultancy call and virus protection checklist. Call 0208 104 3253 or connect to us on www.bvbuster.com.
Welcome back to USA Global TV and the Business Talk Show with the one and only Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Always a pleasure working with you. And we've also got a great guest joining us from the UK. And here's my second opportunity to mispronounce her last name, hermionesihukai, which I think I'm closer now.
You're getting there. Hermionesihukai, but it's good. It's all good, Al.
It's like a Z.
Z. I'm working on that. So, but if I were a business owner and I'm watching your interview and I'm learning that I really need to go a little deeper and a little longer on my thinking about the future of my business, when I reach out to you and we have that first conversation, how does a conversation start? What do you ask me? What homework do I need to do in order to be able to tap into the power of Hermione?
So usually when people reach out to me, I offer like a 15-minute free consultation, because then I send a bunch of questions beforehand so that I can, in those 15 minutes, we can just get to the crunch and save ourselves and use both our times well. So it's just me kind of finding out what your plans are, like kind of what your mission is, what your purpose is, where you are at in your business, what direction you plan to go in, how big is your team. I just want to know some business basics. And then as I talk to you, I'm kind of aware of, you can tell in someone's language. It's quite hard to explain. When I've worked with people with different things. So I've like done coaching in my life, and I've done, I'm also like really very spiritual, and I've done a lot of things with language. So it's very easy for me to hear when people are talking, like their belief systems, just their values, their structures, things just come through in the conversation. And so I can hear that. So it's just a case of me just understanding where you see yourself and then listening to you describe and answer the questions. And then I know whether I can help you or you're not the right client for me, or and what direction I can take you in and how long it will take me. So it's kind of just, I don't know, part of it is just a gift and a skill I have, and part of it is just something that I've learned and repeated over and over that it's just easy for me to do. So I will just be asking business basics, I would say.
Good. And another good thing about COVID is that now that the entire world knows how to use remote access tools like Zoom, and you can do this for clients anywhere in the world. Isn't that right?
That's absolutely right. And it's so good. There are so many people that can use Zoom things now. If I take a diversion, I was somewhere with a family event, and there were just people like of another generation to me, and they were just showing me how to do some stuff on Zoom. And I was like, this is it. This has just made my day. You guys must have been spending the pandemic just on Zoom, communicating with each other. So sure. Yeah, I can. Sure. I can help and work with businesses that are anywhere in the world. But it's just I work with established businesses. I don't work with startup. So my preferred client base is established, and then SMEs.
That's great.
Hermione, I have a question for you. Yes. So when you are conducting this initial consultation interview, what red flags come up when you're asking questions of business owners and you say to yourself, I don't know if this person is 100% committed, or if they're aware of what's actually going on? Can you share any with us?
It's language. It's the language that people use. We all obviously go off sometimes, and we like kind of, maybe we do it for a short period of time, kind of maybe don't take 100% responsibility for what we're doing. So we might have that kind of way of just being like, oh, if only I could do that, or if she would do that, or we kind of just put it on someone else. And so it's to look out for someone repeatedly using this type of language where they're not taking responsibility, because if they're not willing to take responsibility for where they have got so far, there's no way that I can come in and explain, this is the situation, these are the challenges that you're facing, and it's coming from this area, and we need to work on over here to actually fix over here. Sometimes people assume that if the problem is my business isn't growing and I'm not getting enough clients, then it must be because I'm maybe not marketing right. But sometimes you've got to come back, go and look at something over here to go, okay, actually this is why your business isn't growing in this area. So for me, it's just listening out for language. It's just if people are taking responsibility for their business. And then there's the flip side where people are so attached to their business. You can tell by when you're asking the questions and how they're responding, whether they are going to be willing to actually separate themselves. Because I've worked with people who won't. They're like, they're the owner, but they've made it like it's their job. So they're so attached. They give they're all to the business so much that there's nothing else. They don't have hobbies and interests outside of their business. Like their business is their life, and you can't help someone like that because they're not ready to separate. They're not ready to kind of overview. They just want to be in it, Monday to Saturday, maybe some Sunday. Do you know what I mean? And they give up all their time for this business, and it's like, okay, but you need to build a team. You can't be just you and 3 other people, and then you're telling those 3 people, but those 3 people are not smarter than you in something. You can't be the smartest one. You're not going to know. You're not going to know how to develop your business. You're not going to know how to do product development and do marketing and do sales and do finances, and hire everybody. Like, you can't be the smart. If you're the smartest one, I'm concerned for you. Like, in the nicest way possible, I'm concerned because you really should be taking advantage of intelligent people out there and people with amazing expertise and experience. So that's another one. It's just seeing that people can't be separated. And then just you can hear when people will, as they're speaking, if they're not willing to invest in either themselves or their business. So if money is always an issue, but not money's an issue because they don't have it, but it's an issue because they just don't want to spend it. And then therefore you're thinking, if you're not willing to invest in someone coming in and helping you grow, where else are you trying to take shortcuts in your business and not willing to, invest and put your money? So it's understanding their mindset by what they say and how they respond. But it's like my brain processes information really, really fast. So in a short period of time, my brain's analyzing, like checking all these things are happening in my head, and they're just talking, and I'm just like, right, okay, I have an understanding of you now. I know whether I can work with you or not, whether I can, be of assistance or not. So it's kind of hard to break down all the things that happen, but they're kind of the red flags. It's listening to their language, and which comes from their mindset.
You just reminded me of a quote that I've always liked. If you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. Yeah. And what are you doing there? And so it's very important that whoever works with you has to start from a place of humility and with a desire to learn and move in a new direction, and not just reinforce the direction they're already on.
Yeah, absolutely, because we're not going to be, whatever they have been doing to get them there, we're not going to be doing the same thing. Like whatever action they took to get themselves there, it got them where they got them, which is fantastic. It got them, ahead. It got them to the point that they're at, but it's not getting them to where their goal is, their whole purpose, their whole mission, right? It's not getting to the next level. Therefore, we need a new set of thinking, a new set of strategy, which means that they've got to be willing to grow themselves. So you've got to be a person with kind of a growth mindset. You've got to be somebody who's willing and able to see that maybe you've made some mistakes, or see that maybe you've got challenges and you need to grow bigger than your problem. One, you can't use the same thinking that got you into something. You can't, it's not going to get you out of it, right? It was there for a purpose. It got you to that stage. And then now we need to be like, okay, how can you grow your mindset? How can you grow bigger than your problem? And then we can go forward and help you, because now your problem will seem small. Therefore, the solutions will be a lot easier for you to find. But if you stay the same size, it's like, 2 people trying to move past each other on the stairs. We're going to be there forever.
It sounds like you have to have objectivity. You cannot be a control freak, right? Because so many times, this is my baby, this is my business. I can't delegate to anyone because I have to know everything. I have to be in control of everything. And that doesn't usually work. I think also something that's important is, it's like if you go to a doctor and you have tests done and the doctor says you need to lower your cholesterol. Well, yes, here's a pill, but you need to do the work. You need to change what you're doing. So I think a lot of times people come to someone like you, or they come to a coach even, or a mentor, and they think there's this magic wand. Everything's going to be fixed and they're not going to have to do any of the work. But the work could be even just changing your mindset.
That's it. Yeah, the work has to be, you've got to be willing to do the work. Like, I'm not going to do the work for you. It's not my business. My job is to highlight for you where the things aren't matching up. And then my job is to, give you a strategy and give you a system and give you a formula where you can align them up. But then you need to go and put that in place, and you need to take that action, and you need to take that steps. We can all sit in thinking about how we can improve something. And we can just all sit and think about it. Hey, look at my thoughts. Look, what wonderful things we can do. But somebody needs to put it into actual place, and somebody needs to take action. But as it's your business, you're going to be the one that has to take action. And then I will be there just ensuring that we're following the strategy that needs to be followed. But I can't come into your business and take the action for you. This is not going to work. It's not going to make sense either.
Hermione, maybe you can give us an example of something a client has thanked you for, and
A
what
client
made
has
you.
what before? Sorry.
Yeah, what a client has said, boy, thank you, Hermione. I couldn't have done this without you. And what about that made you proud of what you do?
Well, I mean, I've worked with a business to help them. They were going through a stage where they needed kind of restructuring. Actually, they needed a big restructuring. And so I came and kind of provided like the strategy for, if you restructure this way, kind of XYZ, and you start again here and here, then this will help you be able to continue, and you'll have to cut back on some stuff, etc., because it was a monetary thing that was involved. And so they were grateful for the formula that I gave them to go forward, because they were thinking that it was over, it was an end, the business was going to have to be shut down, it was going to be no more. So that was a way that I've helped, and kind of they were grateful for. But it was because of the stress that they were going through. It was a really like pressured situation, because they really felt like their livelihood was going to be no more, and so that was quite a pressured situation, and you could kind of just feel like the weight that they were carrying. So it was to be very, like, I had to be very sensitive about that.
Sure.
So that's one client that I felt like I did a really, really great job in making sure that they still had something to continue on with. It just had to be restructured, and changed around. And that was a great thing. Another client has just been when I've helped smaller businesses as well, and they've just not known what direction to go in. Kind of, they've been like, I've helped them separate them and then just help them just tweak a thing or two. And then they're like, okay, now it makes sense. And off they go. Not everybody wants to go to the end and do the whole program, which is okay. Like, they want the help where they want the help, and for as long as they want the help, and that's like, I'm absolutely fine with that. I don't have a need to. I want to work with them. I want to work with the business owner. I want to work with them and make sure that they get what they need from it, and I will go for as long as that they need the help for. Especially because I'm somebody that I just really like to be authentic with myself. I'm I like to be, I think, Al, you were mentioning at the beginning, about people just wanting to make sure that they had more purpose, more something in their life that really was working for them. And I'm really one of those people. So if I'm working with someone and it's no longer right, or it's finished, then I'm happy to allow them to go forward. I don't need to take more than is what's needed for that time, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
It does make sense. I think that's exactly what an awful lot of business owners and leaders need too. What do you think, Dr. Jacalyn?
I definitely agree. You have so much expertise, and you're such an effective communicator. It's very clear to understand what it is you do and the areas where you add value. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. So Hermione, we've been scrolling your information during the show and also put it into the comments. But for people listening on the radio, what's the best way for people to reach you, and who should reach out to you?
Okay, so if you are a business owner and you would like to, see more growth in your business, but you can see that the areas that are stagnant, you're already established, you've been established for I will say at least 12 months, but we're talking more, like, it would be preferable if you're in the 3 years, but I can still get in there after a year. And if you're like a small, medium business, then you can reach out to me. I offer you a free 15-minute consultation. I can be contacted on my website. You can go to hermionesihukai.com. So I will spell that because you said for the radio people. So it's Hermione, HERMIONE, and then S for sugar, IHUKAI.com. Or I'm on Instagram under the same one. You can reach out to me via social media that way as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'd love to have you come back on a future show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Hermione.
All right. Thanks, Hermione. We'll see you again.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Lots of great information.
Sihukai. I think I have it now.
Sihukai.
Never mind.
She left.
Well, Sihukai, I know we can't get her back on to correct us, but we'll have to get her back for another interview, because I think that what Hermione was describing is exactly what an awful lot of people need. and the kind of exercise that she could lead you through could make a big difference in your present and your future, which is really all you ever have to work with.
That's exactly right, Mr. Cini. And I'm going to spotlight you, and I'd love for you to share how people can get in touch with you and who should reach out to you.
Easiest way to reach me is to visit me in prison. I'm currently doing 5 to 7 years at Broadway State. No, I'm only kidding. Bring a cake. No, actually pretty easy to reach. al.cini@getbcat, getbcat.com. And also have a toll-free number, 855-999-BCAT. So I'll look forward to talking to you. If you feel like you want to be connected with your purpose, you want to learn how we do that. We also offer a webinar every month. The next one is, I think, December 14th. And it's getbcat.com/webinar to sign up. So thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Al. And so we're going to close out the show with a music video. The singer-songwriter is Tony Moore, and he's actually coming back tomorrow. He is releasing a new single called Never Gonna Say Goodbye, but we can't play that today. I have it. I want to just click that button now, but I can't do it. So what we will do is we will play his wonderful track called Route 66, and then we'll see you back here. He's great. So I'll meet you backstage. Just want to ask you a quick question.
Thanks,
okay.
Doc.
All right. We'll see you all later. Thank you.